Beware of the Sony RX100 Mark IV. Okay, that's a little bit dramatic. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, Eric. This is Film Inside. We're going to be talking about the Sony RX100 Mark IV because it's a rather interesting camera. So recently, I've been looking for a new point-and-shoot camera. I've had this guy, the Canon PowerShot ELPH110HS, and it's a decent camera. I broke it though. And on top of this camera being decent, it's definitely not comparable to my DSLR, the Canon T3i. And I would love another camera that I can mix and match when I'm working on videos. So after looking around, I've noticed that a lot of people use the Sony RX100 line. And if you don't know, the Sony RX100 in general is a very high-end point-and-shoot camera by Sony. Currently, Sony is on their 4th generation of the Sony RX100 line. They started with the Mark I, Mark II, Mark III, and Mark IV. I've personally used the Mark III, and it's a really solid camera. It shoots at 20.1 megapixels if you're taking photos, and for video, it shoots at Full HD. 1920 by 1080, and even at some higher frame rates. Because these cameras are on the thicker side, they definitely have some great processors, great sensors in them, and when Sony came out with their newest RX100, the Sony RX100 Mark IV, they kept all the great features with the great build quality, great size. It looks exactly the same as the Mark III, which is by no means a complaint. It still has a 20.1 megapixel sensor, so photos are gonna look excellent still, and video was upgraded as well to 4K, but that's not a good thing. Nowadays, all video cameras are trying to push out 4K, and I've been looking to upgrade my camera personally, but I haven't found anything that I really want that is future-proof, which shoots in 4K. So because 4K is the future, it would only make sense for Sony to come out with a 4K RX100. But the 4K on it is very limited, and it's limited to only 5 minutes per clip. That means when I turn on the camera, click the record button, it'll only record for 5 minutes. Don't get me wrong though, the 5-minute limit isn't the worst thing. When I'm recording vlogs, I probably rarely actually stand here and record 5 minutes of me talking or something. But what if I wanted to shoot like time lapses? Because time lapses are one of the biggest reasons why I want to get a new camera. Just a simple camera that I can throw somewhere, record what I'm doing, whether it be a project, record something outside for a long time. And I can't do that with the Sony RX100 Mark IV. Unfortunately though, that's not even the worst problem, because this camera also overheats when you're shooting in 4K, which means that the processor just simply cannot keep up because it's distributing too much heat, which Sony should have worked out before making this camera. And even on top of that, the battery life on the new Mark IV isn't as good as the Mark III. And that's not good. So just to wrap everything up here, if you're gonna be using the Sony RX100 Mark IV for video, sure, the 4K quality is gonna look excellent, but you have to be ready for the camera to, well, overheat, as well as be prepared for the 5-minute record limit on it. But then when it comes to taking pictures, the picture quality is gonna look excellent. But it's gonna look just as good as the Mark III, because there's really no difference when it comes to photography between these two cameras. At this point, some of you guys might be still considering the Sony RX100 Mark IV, and if you want to get it, go for it. The RX100s in general are great cameras, and I don't mean to hate on Sony or the camera for that matter, because I've used like the Mark III, and it's still a great camera. The Mark IV just has some issues. And one other thing I want to bring up with the camera is actually the price. The Mark IV will cost you $950. $950 is a lot of money, especially for a little compact camera. Don't get me wrong though, all the RX100s cost a lot. The Mark III costs $800. But the Mark III doesn't have issues like the Mark IV. If I were you guys, I would say wait for their Mark V. Hopefully it'll come out this year in 2016. And hopefully they'll have the 4K stuff fixed. Because then I'd consider getting the camera. even for the price of like $950 to $1,000. Anyway guys, that is the video for today. That is my little rant about the Sony RX100 Mark IV. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the camera, about anything, leave that in the comment section below. And guys, just beware of that camera. You never know. I just want to make this video to help you guys out if you guys are considering to buy it. Anyway guys, that's the video for today. Like, subscribe, share with friends, help the channel any way you can. I don't know if you understood any of that. Anyway, I'm Eric. This is Tech Inside. This is actually Film Inside. I'm Eric. This is Film Inside. I'll see you in the next one.